Ireland penning another love letter. Somebody in the FAI deciding that yesterday was the opportune moment to go and, we know from the Yaya Toure story that birthdays are important to footballers.
Yes, extremely important.
And when the story comes to be written, here's the picture. Yeah, happy birthday to Ireland International @_Declan Rice. You think now at this stage his representatives would be able to, dear Twitter, we would like the @Declan Rice handle. Thanks very much.
Who is that Declan Rice?
I don't know. I mean, but it's not the right one. He's like an important Premier League footballer now.
Yeah.
Soon to be England captain.
It's the best thing a social media person has done for a football organisation, I think, in recent times.
Ooh, @Declan Rice follows us.
And it is...
What if we were to get that Declan Rice handle and give it back to the real Declan Rice on one condition?
You play for Ireland.
Yeah, I mean, come on, what could possibly go wrong with this plan?
I think that sounds like a pretty good trade-off. I don't see any reason...
Us doing our bit for the national cause.
Absolutely, as the FAI representative has done for their national cause yesterday. Like, it was a very, very good thing to do, right? I don't understand why you could say it was a stupid thing to do, why it was unnecessary. It was very necessary because we need more moments like this, I think.
I mean, like, really, if Declan Rice decides not to play for Ireland on the basis of the fact that we tried to, tempt the witness by a happy birthday tweet, then maybe Declan Rice was never intended to play for Ireland.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I'm sure he'll find a funny side of it. Like, just the waiting game everybody played yesterday to actually see would he like the tweet. Has that happened yet? I don't think it has.
The waiting game that Nathan Murphy played yesterday. I don't know if you were...
I was following it.
Following Nathan's tweets.
It was literally the only thing I did yesterday afternoon was wait for one new notification to come on Nathan Murphy's Twitter page.
So Nathan doesn't work on a Monday in the office. He
works very hard from home, clearly.
Well, he doesn't. He minds his children. He's got full control of the entire family unit because his missus is out working. And I'm like, what? You're like not paying any attention to your kids. You're literally, all you're doing is like scrolling through the likes that Declan Rice has made on Instagram to see what he's been liking.
Well, see, that's the very thing. Declan Rice is all of our kid. We are all a parent of Declan Rice at this point. It is our duty to look at what he's doing, look at what social media posts he's interacting with, and trying to gauge what decision our kid is going to make. It's important. I'm not sure about you. I'm sure you care about your children. I care about my children too. Declan Rice is one of my kids, and he's all of ours. So I think Nathan Murphy spending his Monday surveying what he's doing was certainly a productive way to spend the day.
Declan Rice is right now liking happy birthday messages on Instagram, but has yet to like the FAI post. I need to get a life. #journalism.
No, you don't. This is the life.
633 likes. All the millions of euro and thousands of hours that will spent on Irish football over the next decade, and yet it still feels our future success boils down to a 20-year-old lacking a happy birthday tweet. Ireland never wore this jersey when Declan Rice was with the squad. He'd finally worked it out. And then there you go. How many messages can one man like? _Deckers10 is the one, and then there you go. This is like 7 hours later. Nathan is still at this. Declan Rice has returned online within the last 10 minutes and liked 6 photographs, but not the one from the FAI. I can only assume he spent the last few hours in a deep meditative state. He's back online 7 hours after that. Still no like. Fairly sure he's gone offline again. More to follow.
And has there been any more to follow? That's 20 hours ago at this point. Oh, sorry, it's 13 hours ago was the most recent one.
Then Steve McCarthy went, Declan Rice shot for FAI Ireland in May.
Well, that debunks...
Well, that makes sense.
That debunks Nathan Murphy's theory.
That makes sense. You've got a new jersey coming out, you get everybody in the room before the friendlies, you get the photographs taken, and then you release them later on in the year. It's like...
There's part of me that genuinely believed that he had lined up for that photo shoot in like September or something. But obviously not. So at least we've managed to get rid of that myth.
We should talk about this now, right? Because it's reaching the point where Gerard Piqué's production company or ESPN should be making a live La Décision.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Irish for decision?
We're just stunned silence here. Caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I really don't know. Anyway, we don't need to call it the Irish. We can just call it the Irish decision. Working title.
Could that be right?
What's it called?
Kinna.
Kinna, maybe. Let's go with Kinna. On Kinna. Featuring Declan Rice. What's Declan Rice in Irish? Whatever it is.
Tommy went to a Wales call, so there's no excuse for him.
We can just run with this. Like, the storyline has to be... I really hope there's a fly in the wall documentary being made right now with Declan Rice just looking at an iPad laughing at all of us. I really hope that's the situation. And he's kind of going from day to day.
This is your pitch to try and get involved, isn't it?
Well, obviously, I've already pitched it to multiple production companies. Here's the idea. We go follow a 20-year-old around with a camera, and he doesn't know what we're doing yet, but we're about to watch him pick Ireland over England. Like the incident at the end of La Decisión involving Antoine Griezmann kind of shows a sweet camera pan, and he's standing outside the Wanda Metropolitano. Like Declan Rice standing outside the Aviva Stadium. If anybody spots Declan Rice standing outside the Aviva Stadium with a camera floating around his head, you know he's made the decision to play for Ireland.
But that could just be the alternative ending, you know, like for loads of EastEnders Christmas Day specials, they would film alternative endings where, like, you know, one of the Mitchell brothers dies, or like the old Vic goes up in flames, and you don't know which one they're actually going to use.
Let's do full Black Mirror Declan Rice, where you actually get to choose the ending. So at the bottom of the screen it'll appear England or Ireland, and whoever decides to go with the Ireland storyline gets the Ireland storyline, and whoever gets to go with the England storyline gets the England storyline.
In the future, it's just like a long-term...
Pick your own ending television show.
The sliding doors moment doesn't actually happen. Both alternative realities exist, multiplying into ever-increasing numbers of realities. In fact, we're just inside some child's dream right now.
That's exactly what was coming to my mind as well. How did you manage to think that? It will be kind of a footballing version of...
by higher power.
We could just do like a footballing version of The Only Way is Essex, where it's kind of this hammed-up version of reality, and we're actually filming two concurrent things, where Declan Rice is an Irishman and Declan Rice is an Englishman, and you can choose whichever storyline you want to follow.
Does any of this matter? Does any of this matter anymore? Like, we'll be grand without Declan Rice, really.
No, we won't.
We'll achieve the same level.
We're all going to die.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's...
We're all going to die a lot quicker if Declan Rice doesn't come on board. He can save the Irish people by joining us.
What would happen? What are the actual consequences of this decision?
Continued mediocrity for Ireland.
If he plays for us?
If he doesn't play for us.
Is he a Jenga piece that transforms our fortunes?
I think he kind of is. Certainly in a few years' time, when he's reached that level of confidence of being a top Premier League player, if he continues the way he's going, if he gets that big move and becomes a starter for a top 6 club, which isn't outside the realms of possibility at this point.
I think everybody's talking about him playing for Man United and Man City. It's like,
to be
he's
fair,
20.
Okay, well, here's the thing. If he joins Manchester City now, say if you put him right in that team, he doesn't get into the starting 11.
Does he not get a load of games at centre-back?
Potentially, like the second leg against Burton with a 9-0 advantage, he like gets that game for sure. But he's probably going to be 22 by the time he becomes a regular in the team. Fernandinho with another season there. I'm not sure he gets in ahead of John Stones and Laporte, to be quite honest with you at this point. Of course, injuries come into play. And then he's fighting with Ilkay Gundogan for the spot when Fernandinho leaves, or they potentially sign somebody else. And he probably beats Gundogan to that particular position. I know I'm using Manchester City as the example here, and you could use any other team in the top 6.
Man United, he gets straight in the team.
Like
or close enough to it, right?
It's easy to say right now that he is a better football player than Matic and Herrera, but I want to see him in the Manchester United team and see him playing in the system that they play in, and seeing him up against teams that are constantly like playing out of their skin to beat you, like Manchester United are always playing. Like, obviously he has a potential to be, from an Irish perspective, one of the best talents of the decade.
So you're saying that we go from being a League of Nations Division 3 team to a League of Nations Division 2, and not fighting relegation, but maybe occasionally getting into the
like
top.
That's not that big a gap. There's 3 teams in the division.
Well, it's third tier to first tier. Nearly first tier.
Okay, so the way we are at the moment, we should be pushing for promotion to Division 2. So we will. I would like to think we'll be back there next time.
Yeah, when does that group
with or without
when
Declan Rice?
When does that group get made?
The next qualification.
Right.
So we've got to wait a while yet. But I would say, with or without Declan Rice, we will be pushing for promotion to Division 2. And then it's kind of like, what sort of form are we in for those few months? Like that's the difference between Division 1 and 3. It's like...
Okay. So you're saying...
It's not like the difference between League 1 and Premier League, for example.
I mean...
The gulf is, but in terms of actually climbing that ladder, it's like getting yourself into the second tier.
We qualify for tournaments every campaign he plays 80% of the games in.
I would say he increases our chances massively, because it is against a team...
Massively? Give me a percentage. Like, make a... Tell us. Explain.
15%. That's a sizable jump.
That's nothing.
For one player, 50... Okay, let's go to 20%. Like that's one-fifth of games.
How likely is it that we qualify for every? So at the moment, it's like not likely. We qualify once every 3 or 4 tournaments.
Put it to you this way: if Declan Rice was in the squad for the World Cup qualification campaign, would we have won in Tbilisi? There's a much better chance we would have done. Would we have got something at home against Serbia, or perhaps got the 3 points in Serbia when we were in a decent enough position? Chances are we might have done. Like he improves our chances in those games. Does he take us to become contenders with England and Germany and France and the Netherlands? Obviously not, because we're Ireland. We always will be Ireland.
Do you love him more than you love Joey Carbery?
They're equal at the moment. If Declan Rice picks Ireland, I would love him more than Joey Carbery.
Here is Keith Andrews talking yesterday at the launch of the Spar FAI Primary Schools 5s programme. Jamie Moore caught up with him and got his take on the Rice FAI tweet.
Well, he is an Ireland international, and hopefully he remains an Irish international. I have to be honest, I would have been one of the ones that was angry when he first decided to press pause on his international career and look at the option of England and just look after club form for the time being. That's certainly decreased in recent months, and I'm just hopeful that he can come back and play for us, because I think he'd revolutionise the team. I think he's that good, and seen a lot of them underage for Ireland 21s. Didn't really surprise me too much how well he adapted in the 3 internationals that he played. A couple of Man of the Match awards, one of them which I gave him. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed indeed. Here's what's coming up.